You're listening to Reading Between the Lines with your host, Drew Parker.
Self-destruct sequence activated.
Hello and welcome. You're listening to the RBTL podcast. My name is Drew Parker with my co-host John Starrett.
How's it going?
And we're brought to you by Blue Apron, which is a home delivery service, farm fresh meals, delivered straight to your door, prepackaged, pre-portioned ingredients, cook time anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes. Super convenient service if you have if you have the money and don't have the time to cook well and eat well. It's a great service for you. As for today's podcast, you can find this on John's YouTube page. Go ahead and plug that.
John Starrett, JOHNSTARRETT, double T.
You can also find this on my personal Facebook page, the podcast Facebook page, as well as SoundCloud and iTunes if you're subscribed there, or if this is where you're getting it. Obviously, you're already there.
Yeah, search that Texas Tech info.
Right. And if you don't know what SoundCloud is, what I'll put on my Facebook is the link to SoundCloud if you want to know what SoundCloud even is. But as far as the podcast today, we're coming to y'all on a somewhat somber note. This is Wednesday after the tragedy in Las Vegas happened on early Monday morning or late Sunday night, one of those two. And as most of y'all already know, a 64-year-old man by the name of Stephen Paddock, pardon if I butchered that, opened fire on a crowd during a country music festival. Jason Aldean happened to be the artist performing at the time of the gunshots. Paddock, the assailant, opened fire from the 32nd floor of a nearby hotel called Mandalay Bay. Officials say Paddock was a local Mesquite, Nevada citizen with no criminal background. He had a hunting license in Alaska. He lived in Texas, Nevada, and New York at various times of his life. He made a living as an accountant, and the only other thing that I know about him is that he had a private pilot license. Paddock was found shortly after and killed himself as police breached his door. Officials confirmed that. Sadly, the death toll, if it ever goes above 1, it's sad. The death toll as far as Tuesday morning when I wrote this down was 59, and there were 500 plus other people wounded. So you just fear that you pray that it doesn't go up, but you fear that some of those injured will become deceased as well. Either from the injuries happened either from the gunfire or from being trampled through the chaos. Official believes it was a lone shooter, or it's confirmed now. This is a few days after it happened.
Yeah.
But law enforcement is still looking for his quote unquote companion. I don't know. Haven't heard word of his companion. I don't know if it was a him or her either. But he had a quote unquote companion. What that means, I don't know, but but that's what I'm telling y'all right now. I'm gonna try to pronounce this right. Mandalay Bay, a hotel, from my understanding, doesn't have windows that open. So the shooter had to shoot the window out and open fire on the crowd below. As far as the event, it took the singer a little while to realize what was going on because he had what performers call in-ear headsets. And you can't hear much besides the music when you have those in. The crowd that was gathered was unsure at first as well because many thought it was fireworks or some sort of other effects from the concert. Once Jason Aldean realized what was going on, he dropped his guitar and ran off stage. A little bit more about it. Witnesses said that the gunfire continued for at least 5 minutes. Mandalay Bay is located behind the stage where Jason Aldean was performing. There was 12 to 14,000 people there in attendance with only 20 exits. So you could imagine that it's kind of being fish in a barrel, for lack of a better phrasing. As for some
it's a
facts
tragedy for sure.
About the shooting, they said that there was at least 42 fully automatic assault rifles found in 2 places, both at his hotel room and his place of residence. Had been there for 3 days. Also had plans to make explosive devices. So his family was on the news saying that. They think he's snapped because this is not part of who he is, which, I mean, I don't think that's part of who anybody is. I think people are good at heart, but this was clearly not just a snap decision, that it was premeditated to some extent. I do want to take a moment to give a shout out to all the law enforcement and first responders that were involved on the night of the shooting. It takes a lot of guts to run into an area where everyone is running out of. Not to mention they're going into it not knowing what's going on or where it's coming from. I encourage everyone who's listening to this to thank a first responder today. I'm a huge supporter of law enforcement, so I just encourage y'all to take a minute or two out of your day to thank one. As for my thoughts on the event, obviously we're here to talk about sports, but I can't. But my heart has gone out to that event the last 3 days, and it's kind of put me in a funk. So I figured that it wasn't right to just go into joyful sports talk without approaching the situation. As for my thoughts, I'm sick, heartbroken, disturbed, and pissed off hearing the news about all this. Where am I going with this? As for Paddock, I don't know if he had any political affiliation. I haven't heard about that. But that may have played a role in the act. I'm not sure. I really do think it was just a messed up person who did a messed up thing. Again, this is a sports show, but I can't get past the hurt that I feel in my heart for this tragic event. And due to this incident, we're going to have a moment of silence. But I just wanted to say, and I can only speak for myself, I assume John can
Yes.
echo this. But my thoughts and prayers go out to anybody and everyone who's been affected by this senseless act of violence. And for a specific person, I want to lift up Danae Gibbs, a Texas Tech student of the 2017 graduating class. I don't know her personally, but she is a close friend of one of John and I's fellow Wesley members. If you feel led to donate, she has a GoFundMe that I'll put up on the Facebook page for this podcast. I would read it out now, but it's obviously you can't see what I'm saying.
Drew Parker on Facebook.
Right. As for how she's doing better. I've had a few updates from her friends and family, and she's doing better than she was, obviously. She was shot once, but it resulted in 2 injuries. She is in some pain, but obviously, you're going to be in pain when you get shot. But she is expected to have a full recovery. So I just want to lift her and her family up in your thoughts and prayers. And one other thing, John and I are both Christian men, and like I just said about it not being a political, I don't want to get any political side about the gun control or whatnot. But as much as it's not a political show, this is not a religious show either. However, I am much more passionate about my religion than I am about politics. So with that being said, I'm going to go on my religious soapbox for a minute because in this moment I don't care about being secular, and it's my show, so I'm going to say what I want. If what I'm about to say makes you unsubscribe, then so be it, but I believe it is my duty as a Christian to spread the good word of my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I am convinced more and more every day that the gospel of Jesus Christ is the only solution to this broken world. No amount of laws or trying harder can stop evil. Transformed soul is the only solution to crazy.
Amen.
Psalm 34:18 said, "The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and save those who are in crushed spirit." Although that being said, we're going to stop the show, or we're going to play a segment of the song and then stop the show for about 5 to 10 seconds after the song is concluded for a brief moment of silence or moment of prayer, whichever one you prefer. If you're in a position to close your eyes and bow your head, please do. If you aren't, then do what you wish with this time allotted, but please keep the people who were and are being affected by the events in Las Vegas in your thoughts. But with that being said, God bless y'all and God bless America.
All right, please join us in this moment of silence.
You're listening to Reading Between the Lines with your host, Drew Parker.
Self-destruct sequence activated.
Hello and welcome. You're listening to the RBTL podcast. My name is Drew Parker with my co-host John Starrett.
How's it going?
And we're brought to you by Blue Apron, which is a home delivery service, farm fresh meals, delivered straight to your door, prepackaged, pre-portioned ingredients, cook time anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes. Super convenient service if you have the money and don't have the time to cook well and eat well. It's a great service for you. As for today's podcast, you can find this on John's YouTube page. Go ahead and plug that.
John Starrett, JohnStarrett, double T.
You can also find this on my personal Facebook page, the podcast Facebook page, as well as SoundCloud and iTunes if you're subscribed there, or if this is where you're getting it. Obviously, you're already there.
Yeah, search that Texas Tech info.
Right. And if you don't know what SoundCloud is, what I'll put on my Facebook is the link to SoundCloud if you want to know what SoundCloud even is. But as far as the podcast today, we're coming to y'all on a somewhat somber note. This is Wednesday after the tragedy in Las Vegas happened on early Monday morning or late Sunday night, one of those two. And as most of y'all already know, a 64-year-old man by the name of Stephen Paddock, pardon if I butchered that, opened fire on a crowd during a country music festival. Jason Aldean happened to be the artist performing at the time of the gunshots. Paddock, the assailant, opened fire from the 32nd floor of a nearby hotel called Mandalay Bay. Officials say Paddock was a local Mesquite, Nevada citizen with no criminal background. He had a hunting license in Alaska. He lived in Texas, Nevada, and New York at various times of his life. He made a living as an accountant, and the only other thing that I know about him is that he had a private pilot license. Paddock was found shortly after and killed himself as police breached his door. Officials confirmed that. Sadly, the death toll, if it ever goes above 1, it's sad. The death toll as far as Tuesday morning when I wrote this down was 59, and there were 500 plus other people wounded. So you just fear that you pray that it doesn't go up, but you fear that some of those injured will become deceased as well. Either from the injuries happened either from the gunfire or from being trampled through the chaos. Official believes it was a lone shooter, or it's confirmed now. This is a few days after it happened.
Yeah.
But law enforcement is still looking for his quote unquote companion. I don't know. Haven't heard word of his companion. I don't know if it was a him or her either. But he had a quote unquote companion. What that means, I don't know, but but that's what I'm telling y'all right now. I'm gonna try to pronounce this right. Mandalay Bay, a hotel, from my understanding, doesn't have windows that open. So the shooter had to shoot the window out and open fire on the crowd below. As far as the event, it took the singer a little while to realize what was going on because he had what performers call in-ear headsets. And you can't hear much besides the music when you have those in. The crowd that was there at first as well, because many thought if the few scores. I actually didn't watch the Cowboys game. English is nice. I didn't actually watch the Cowboys game, which is a shocker to a lot of people who listen to this.
Yeah.
But they lost to the Rams at home, 35-30. The Bills beat the Falcons 23-17 on the road. The defending NFC champions, and they lose at home to a team that we thought was less than mediocre. Panthers shocked the Patriots again at home, 33-30. The Jets, who I thought were going to go 0-16, are now 2-2 after beating the Jags 23-20.
Aren't the Patriots also 2-2?
Yeah, which is nuts.
I would never expect that.
I'm about to get into those rankings. It's kind of crazy. The Cardinals beat the 49ers in overtime. Cardinals are a potential playoff team. They're kind of on the edge where I can't tell what they're going to be at the rest of the season, but they're decent. They beat the 49ers in overtime 18-15. Eagles beat the Chargers to go to 3-1. They beat the Chargers 26-24 on a field goal as well. Bucks beat the Giants. Giants are now 0-4. Hallelujah. They lose to the Bucks 25-23. And Seahawks destroy the Colts 26-18. The Colts are pitiful. And then your beloved Texans beat the Titans 57-14, John.
Oh, you know it, man. What the heck happened? The O-line couldn't stop a fly.
Deshaun Watson with 5 touchdowns in a game.
Deshaun Watson had a ridiculously good game.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of my Texans. That's all I'm going to say.
As for some divisional standings, I'll run through these and tell you what kind of shocking me. AFC, we'll start with them. The AFC East, Bills are at 3-1, Jets and Patriots are at 2-2, and the Dolphins are at 1-2. If you would have told me the Bills would be leading that division 4 weeks in, I'd call you nuts.
I'd agree.
Whoever bet on them is very wealthy at this point.
Or will be.
Right, Patriots are 2-2. That's unheard of. As for the AFC West, Chiefs with Mahomes as the backup is 4-0, with the Broncos behind them at 3-1, followed by the Raiders at 2-2, who just lost their star quarterback. I wish him the best because he's a heck of a quarterback.
And I'll say that Mahomes, man, he's pushed Alex Smith. He's
Right.
become a different style quarterback
that's for sure.
with Mahomes in the
He's learning
wings.
how to push the ball down the field and not be safe the whole time.
It's pretty impressive to see what
Right.
he's doing this year.
And the Raiders are trailed at the bottom of the division by the Chargers, who are 0-4. Chargers can't catch a break. They end up losing games in ways that you wouldn't think were possible. AFC North, Steelers are 3-1, followed by the Ravens at 2-2, Bengals at 1-3, and the Browns are, of course, 0-4. Sadness. AFC South, Jags. This is going to be a crazy division to follow. Kind of like the AFC East with the Bills and the Jets and the Patriots. AFC South, you have the Jets, Titans, and Texans all at 2-2. And then the Colts are behind them at 1-3. Colts, I'd go and count them out. They're not going to give in.
When does Luck get back is all I need to know.
I think like week 6 or so.
Okay. They're not going to be a good team until they have him.
Right. And even that, they're going to be a mediocre team when he gets back. As for the NFC, the East side, Eagles are leading at 3-1 after beating the Chargers. Cowboys and Redskins are 2-2. Both Cowboys lost to the Rams this past weekend, and the Redskins lost to the.
Weren't the Cowboys up early?
They were up decisively, like 14, and then they lost it.
Well, I didn't watch the end of it. I saw
Right.
part of the middle, and I was like, okay, they got that.
And the Giants are
crazy.
trailing that division at 0-4, which makes me laugh so hard. NFC West, Rams are at 3-1, followed by the Seahawks and the Cardinals at 2-2, and the 49ers at 0-4. The Rams look like a legit team behind Jared Goff. NFC North, Lions at 3-1, followed by the Packers at 3-1, and the Vikings at 2-2 with the Bears at 1-3. Mitch Trubisky will get the start for the Bears now over Mike Glennon, so it'll be cool to see his NFL regular season debut. NFC South,
about time.
right? NFC South, Falcons at 3-1, followed by the Panthers also at 3-1. The Buccaneers are 2-1, and because they had a game canceled due to Hurricane Irma, so they're actually playing. Their bye week was week 1, so they're actually playing 16 straight games, which is that's rough.
Reminds me of another team we like a lot, actually.
Who's that? I wonder. And then the Saints follow them at 2-2. So kind of some shocking stuff. The fact that the Rams are winning their division. Lions and Packers are always going to be a fight for the finish, seemingly every year. In fact, the Panthers knocked off the Patriots to stay even with the Falcons. And the freaking AFC with the Bills, Chiefs, and that hunt in the AFC South between the Jags, Texans, and Titans. Going to be fun.
Yeah,
They're
they're
going to be a
duke it
fun
out.
one to watch.
For sure. Duke it out.
But before we transition to college football, I'm going to plug our sponsor real quick.
Yeah.
Blue Apron is a home delivery service that has pre-portioned, pre-packaged ingredients, farm-fresh ingredients, delivered to your door, 30 to 40-minute cook time. It's hard to screw that up, but it's quite a service if you have the money and don't have time. It just delivered out to your door. You don't have to do any measuring. So yeah, if that's something you're into, go to blueapron.com. We don't have a discount on our podcast yet, sadly. I'm sorry, but hopefully soon we'll get that if y'all keep sharing this thing and get the word out.
Yeah, make this grow so we can get you that discount.
Absolutely.
All right, are you ready for the wacky and wild world of college football?
Boy, isn't that a name for it? So to start things off, we got the AP Top 10, which not a whole lot of movement at the top. Alabama and Clemson are 1 and 2, followed by Oklahoma, Penn State, Georgia, which is just steamrolling people right now.
They're playing really well.
Right. Washington at 6, Michigan at 7, TCU at 8, Wisconsin at 9, and Ohio State at 10. Other notables, Washington State after beating USC is now 11. USC after losing to them is 14, and Oklahoma State, who lost to a team that I'm not sure what their name is, they're now 15.
That's all right.
Other notable scores from Week 5, like I just said, Washington State beat USC 30-27. I watched that game. It was late, but I watched it. Alabama beat Ole Miss 66-3, which apparently is the largest sum of points Alabama has scored on Ole Miss in history. Which is nuts.
Roll Tide.
Right. No, I don't want that.
No, I'm not a big fan of them, but there was an elephant one, so I had to throw it out there.
Clemson beats Virginia Tech 31-17. As far as I know, that score does not tell you how lopsided that game was. Clemson's defense is championship level defense. They are for real. They are quick and physical and just big all around. Atlanta State was rocking, but it wasn't enough to rock Clemson off the rocker. A lot of rocks there. It's fine. Georgia beats Tennessee 41-0. Like I said, Georgia is for real, and they're one of those teams that was kind of a dark horse. People were like, "Oh, maybe Georgia," but nobody was really considering it. They're coming up with some momentum.
Yeah, they're looking good.
And Troy gets paid almost $1 million to go to LSU and beat LSU at home, 24-21. LSU is a basket case.
Talk about a good deal.
Right. As for they tweeted out saying like I don't know if that's actually their homecoming, but Troy tweeted something out that was like, thanks for inviting us to homecoming. We enjoyed our visit, which is like a slap in the face. LSU.
They held on
right.
in 24-21 in that game. Troy won.
Big 12 scores: Texas beats Iowa State 17-7.
That was not a interesting game.
No, it was a snoozer.
It was like whose offense was worse.
Since when has Texas? Since when has the Big 12 become a defensive league? I don't know. Kansas State beats Baylor 33-20. Baylor, stay with me, John, is now 0-5. Which is that's sad.
It's like the opposite of how they started out last year with the 6-0. We're gonna get 0-6.
But do you have any other notable scores or interesting games for this week, John?
I think you mentioned the Washington State USC game. That game was nuts, and I did stay up to the end.
Did you see Mike Leach's post game?
Yeah, that's the one thing. Like when he's standing on the field, and they're like, "So what's it like down there?" And he's like, "It's like Woodstock, but everyone still has their clothes on."
He is an American treasure. I hope he never goes away.
He is so much fun to watch.
Fantastic.
Who do I have? I think I had San Diego State over NIU. It was 34-28.
Northern Illinois University?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And now San Diego State is 5-0, so that's pretty.
Okay.
Pretty darn good start
Not
for
too
them.
Bad.
Yeah, and then Florida State, I had them winning over Wake Forest.
Out dang time.
And so they got their first win, 26-19. Not a great win, but you know what? They got a W. Maybe they'll start something going. That's all I got for that.
But and looking forward to week 6. What do you got for us?
All right, this is interesting games this weekend. All right, so I'm just going to run through a few games, and you can tell me what you think about these games.
Right.
Louisville versus NC State. Louisville's ranked 17. NC State is ranked 24th.
Really? Wow.
Louisville's only 3.5-point favorites.
On the road?
I think they're at NC State. They're only 3.5 points favorites, but the FPI from ESPN gives NC State a 61.4% chance of winning.
That's surprising.
So that's a pretty cool.
I'll take Louisville to cover.
Yeah. I don't know what to expect from NC State. They played awful well, but yeah, I'd take Louisville too in that game. LSU versus Florida, and so it's 2:30 Central kickoff time. And if you remember this, Florida's QB, I forgot his name, was injured, and there's still a 3-point spread to Florida.
These are two programs that are currently floundering right now.
Yeah, and so Florida is the 3-point favorite, even with their main quarterback gone.
But it's in Florida, right?
I believe so.
I'll take Florida in a close game. I don't know if I'd take 3, but I'll take it within a touchdown.
Okay, here's one that I think is going to be a really good game. Miami versus Florida State. Number 13, the U versus Florida State.
U's got some swagger to him right now. They're playing good ball.
I love that chain when they have a good play. It's kind of cheesy, but also pretty cool. Let's see. Miami's favored by 3 points, 2:30 kickoff time. There's a lot of good 2:30 kickoff times. And it's at FSU, but Miami is favored.
I would at FSU.
Yeah,
that's a rowdy crowd. I will take Miami and take the 3 as well. I think Miami by 3.
All right, that's a good pick for me. 23. This is the best Big 12 matchup. 23 West Virginia versus number 8 TCU.
And College Game Day is going there.
Really?
Yeah.
It's 2:30 p.m. like a lot of those really good games are. 13-point spread to TCU.
Shout out to my friend Mary, who's at TCU. I think he already graduated by now. I might be wrong on that. But if I see you, I will holler at you. So, but yeah.
There's the 13-point spread to TCU to win in Fort Worth. And check out this win percentage. 88.4% win percentage.
What's the spread for TCU?
The spread is 13 points over West Virginia.
That's high.
That's a lot. I don't think.
Granted, TCU is ranked number 8.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a lot of points to score over West Virginia, who's been scoring quite a bit.
It's hard for me to think of TCU as the number 8 team in the nation because
Their defense is good.
Their defense is good, but their offense just doesn't carry that much power to it. And we'll get into some playoff talk here soon, but boy, that's a big spread to cover at home against West Virginia. West Virginia's undefeated too, right?
No, they had the one loss to the Virginia Tech at the very beginning.
That's right. I remember watching that game.
That quarterback was shaking off the rust after sitting a year.
I'll take TCU, but I'm not taking that cover. That's a high cover.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Kansas State at UT. It's a 6 p.m. game.
Please, God, have Kansas State win.
UT is only a 4-point favorite.
That seems high even.
That's like nothing. And check this out. UT is struggling so much to sell tickets. They start at $2 for a ticket
serious?
to that game.
I bought a Coke today for more than that. I'm kidding, I don't drink.
So
Coke,
yeah,
anyway.
$2 tickets for the
ridiculous.
UT game in UT, of course, at Austin.
I have more than that in my change in my car, but it's fine.
Yeah, I'm like parking will be like $40, but you get a $2 ticket.
That's so stupid. I hope Texas loses. They despite the I don't know if you might have watched more of the game than I did. It happened at Thursday while we're at Underground.
Yeah.
But that game, I don't know if it was more of the offense was floundering or if it was the defense showing up.
I saw both. I saw both offense really sucking, and then both. I mean, UT's defense played a little bit better.
There was a lot of turnovers I heard forced by Texas. Wasn't there?
There was really bad quarterback play and offense miscoordination. It was an ugly game for Iowa State, offensively especially. So they played all right defensively against Texas. But yeah, it was one of those where it was a no doubter for most of the game. But it was one of those that was like, are you going to keep scoring or are you just going to keep it close? Ended up being a 10-point game.
Now we're through 5 weeks. Most of the teams have played 4 games, so we're through a third of the season.
Yeah.
Let's get into some. I know this is all speculation at this point, because I don't think the first rankings come out till like 2 weeks from now. But let's get into some college football talk. I'll set this conversation up by saying this: Alabama and Clemson are shoo-ins. If I think you can lock them in right now.
You need to have a quarterback injury or some sort of meltdown for them not to be in.
So 4 teams get into the playoffs. If Alabama and Clemson are locks, who's the other 2 that come in?
Man, you mentioned earlier how good Georgia was looking.
Right.
We'll see if they can sustain that.
And they're sitting at 5 right now behind Penn State at 4.
Yeah, Penn State. Oh man.
See, the thing is,
that's a solid team.
You have. I think the Pac-12 gets left out this year because you have ACC and SEC right now locked in by my opinion. Oklahoma, if they win out, will be in. No doubt about that. They're sitting there at 3 right now. So you got 2 spots, and you got Pac-12, Big 10, Big 12. Oklahoma, as of right now, I would put in as a Big 12.
Until they show us something different. Man, those receivers get open, man.
They do.
The running back out of the backfield gets open all the time.
I think after USC lost, I think the Pac-12 gets left out. I mean, you got an undefeated TCU coming up the ranks. You know, you got Georgia right there. I don't know. I haven't watched Washington much. And then you got teams that are outside the top 10 bubble currently, like Washington State. Like Washington State runs the tables.
Yeah.
Their hardest game is behind them now.
And
USC.
they have the kind of offense that could basically do anything.
Right, Mike
anybody.
Leach is a wizard. But oh boy, it's gonna be fun when you have, because I think if you're a conference champion, it's gonna get interesting because like if you have a loss, you're back against the wall. You know, we haven't seen a 2-loss team get in, so I would assume that it's not possible at this point.
Yeah, I'd agree.
And like I don't think I would love to see the champion from each conference go undefeated, because if you had 5 undefeated teams in 4 spots, that'd be nuts.
Some rock, paper, scissors.
The debate would be amazing on that. I think it's Alabama, Clemson. You have to put Oklahoma. Now that Oklahoma State has kind of dropped off the mountain, they beat us to not completely fall off the mountain, but they have a lot of work to do to get back up there. Georgia looks like a for real team with that defense. Their defense is stellar.
I need to watch their next game.
I would love to see TCU get up there. I mean, I don't love TCU as like a Tech is playing them, but in terms of Big 12, if we somehow knocked off Penn State and Georgia and got TCU up in that 4th slot behind Oklahoma, that'd be a heck of a game to watch. Oklahoma TCU, a high-powered Oklahoma offense against a TCU defense.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that'd be fun to watch. But again, this is all speculation. But I just find it interesting how the debate is certainly going to heat up depending on because there's always going to be those snubs. There's always going to be that surprise. Last year wasn't hugely a surprise.
There was a lot of moves last year. Like
right.
A&M was in the top 4 at one
Penn
point.
State kind of got snubbed. Michigan was on the outside looking in. A lot of people said that they got really hot at the end to where they deserved to be in, but they had 2 losses still. So, but yeah, that's it's gonna be.
There's so much speculation.
Right.
So much can change with just one fluke of a game.
This is something I love about college football, to where anything can happen on any given Saturday, but just the constant conversation about it. I love college football playoff talks. So we'll be following this a little more as the granted there hasn't been much movement at the top, but we'll follow this as the season keeps going.
There's some good teams out there.
Right. Other than that, John, you can take it away with the next segment of the show.
All right. This is Miscellaneous Tech Facts. All right, so I'm just going to run through some just tech facts stuff from this season so far, and if there's anything you have to say about it too, you can throw in there some facts. All right, Shimanek now has 1,578 yards, 12 touchdowns, I believe, and 2 interceptions on the season. His QBR is 79.3.
What is that on pace for? Like 3,500 yards or 4,000 or?
Oh, it's over 4, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
If that's 15 through 4, you have 12. Don't put me on the spot for this math, but that's looking real good.
Yeah.
That's looking like over 4,000.
Oh yeah.
So let's see. Possible injury to Kiki Cutie. We don't know how. Well, we know there is an injury, but we don't know how bad this will sideline him. How
it's not a head injury; it's a leg injury. That's what I heard, and I heard today that he is probably not going to play against Kansas.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Of course, we thought Vontae Dorsey was also not going to play.
And then he showed up.
But I think because it is Kansas and we are confident in our offense, just running its scheme, we might be. Ooh. I think we are against Kansas. I would say against most of the Big 12, probably not. But because it is Kansas, and I think that we have the offense to kind of back that up enough, at least to kind of take a lead. Okay, anyway, I'm not going to get into that yet. But he'll probably sit out this next game. Kiki Cutie. Kuti has 499 yards, almost broke the 500 mark in that game before the injury. He has 4 touchdowns, and he leads the team in receiving.
He put the team on his back and tried to he almost willed us to a victory himself.
You know, it seems like Kiki and Dylan Cantrell are the 2 guys that will put the team on your back. You can trust them in big-time moments.
Cantrell is like the Whitman of Tech.
And I truly haven't seen the other 2 starting receivers. Of course, now with Kiki out, we have a different receiver there, but I haven't seen them be the guys that we...
Do you know who's coming in for him?
I believe it's Antoine Cox-Wesley. Wesley. He's like 6'5", but he's still like 180 or 190, so he's kind of a twig.
Now, did he come in last game for him, or did he just going to start this game?
He came in last game for him, and it sounds like he's the guy they're going to place there. But yeah, he showed some sparks, but I worry about him making catches with like traffic in the area. So,
and what year is he? Do you know?
I believe he's either a redshirt. I think he's a redshirt freshman, but he might be a sophomore.
That's right, because I heard that this is not enough to make them this is not enough for them to take his red shirt off.
Well, so, yeah, I think last year he was here and he redshirted.
Okay,
I believe. Maybe he got a few catches, but yeah, you know, this is enough of a season, especially with how many times we throw the ball to get any receiver into it. But Antoine Cox-Wesley looks like the backup, or now the starter at that spot. Justin Stockton is our lead rusher still with 224 yards and 3 touchdowns rushing. He has 1 touchdown receiving as well, so 4 total touchdowns. Man, for some reason, we are adamant to stick with Stockton on running the ball.
Yeah.
And I guess it's just because he's really good at, you know, having all the things covered, the pass protection, the where to go and what to do on every play. So he knows the playbook best, and that seems to be why they stick with him the most.
You know, I was talking to Micah, who's one of the freshmen. And not fresh. Sorry, people who are at the Wesley. He's a freshman at our church, not a freshman on the team. But I was telling, it was like a 3rd and 1 of the game, and it was Reed and Stockton lined up, and Micah was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna give it to Stockton." I go, "We better not, because Stockton can't run between the tackles. I don't care if it's 3rd and an inch. I'm not giving it to Stockton. I'm giving it to Big Body." But
yeah, he showed that he could get that one, and I had a hot take at the beginning of the year that was shot down with that. Stockton never runs 3rd and short again.
Yeah, we've run it like 5 times. It feels like like 4 too many,
and it scares me so much for sure.
Hold your breath a little bit every time they snap the ball to him.
Okay, let me make sure I got these. Okay, so Texas Tech is still third nationally in passing yards with 410.8 a game.
Huh.
The only
Wow.
two that are higher are UCLA and Mike Leach's Washington State.
Imagine that.
You could expect that out of
Right.
their offense. Tech is 12th in offensive points per game at 42.3. Dropped down a little bit in the
Okay.
last few games, but we're still scoring over 40 points a game on
Right.
average, which is really good. We're spoiled at Tech. If we we scored
Right.
35, we suck. There's like so many teams that wish they would even do that.
In the SEC, that would win every game for you.
That would win a lot of games in the SEC. Tech is 12th in offensive points per game at 42.3 points. I already read that one. Tech's defense is 91st rushing, giving up 30 points per game. And their defense is only giving up 30 points a game right now.
Tech's defense?
Yeah.
Wow.
So last year we were over
Look
40.
at you with the hot tape being right so far.
If they average under 38 the whole season, which is tough to do in Big 12.
Right. Now
That's
that
a
we're in
good
the
thing.
conference play, right?
Let's see. Tech's offense averages 125.8 rushing yards offensively per game, which is ranked 98th in the country.
Which got shut down last game. But
Yes. We're
We'll get to that.
I think with a few big open plays from the U of H game running, they brought us up. But
Right.
we are not a very good running team right now, which I hope to them to prove me wrong the rest of the season. Because of their 0-1 Big 12 record, Tech is 7th in the Big 12 according to ESPN. That just kind of makes
hate
me
that.
frustrated
I
because
do, yeah.
you look at it and you're like, well, I mean, we almost beat a ranked team,
Right.
And you're calling us 7th.
We
in the
almost beat a
conference.
team that was contending for a playoff spot this year.
But what's really cool about that is Tech is ranked 28th or 29th, tied in the AP top 25.
Wait, well, say that again?
28th or 29th in the poll.
Still?
We didn't go down. much.
Wow, that's surprising.
And I think it's because we almost beat them at the end.
Right, true.
We only received 10 votes, but now I guess they're more solidified in the top 25. So
Right.
fewer votes will get you closer to the top 25 right now. So they're ranked 28th, 29th in the AP. And every week I talk about the CBS 130, all that stuff. We're 36th in the CBS poll. Only moved down one spot in the poll after that close loss.
Maybe our name is finally starting to carry some weight.
Our defense is just, for some reason, they've come up with stops when it matters. Or
Yep.
they come up with at least holding them to a field goal, having a chance to miss the field
Who
goal.
would have thought that we'd be complaining about our offense more than our defense at this point in the season?
Yeah,
Who would have thought?
that's just not. I mean, our defense has carried us through
Right,
games.
which for any freshman who's listening to this is not how it usually is at all.
That's not normal Tech.
No.
And, man, I'm like, what did Cliff do in this offseason? If all it took was to go hang out with the defense sometimes.
Like I was telling you, if he put in as much time in the offense as he does flip that around. If he puts in enough time in the defense as he put in the offense, who knows? And we're seeing that right now.
We're seeing at least that effort in the
Right.
show that he supports the team and not just like, oh, my offense, your
Right,
defense.
true.
And that's really made a huge difference, like, at least in their mentality.
David Gibbs,
They're
for
like,
president, not David Gibbs.
That's his name.
Oh, it is. Okay.
The defensive
For
coordinator.
some reason, I thought it was wrong. David Gibbs for president. Calling it.
Yeah, he's been good. All right, so I'm going to play this clip real quick, and then we're going to move into the notes from this game.
Second down and 8 at the 18. Rudolph with time. Delivery. Picked off. They're slowing down right now, Joe Clark. DeMarcus Fields down the sideline. Touchdown. Red Raiders. 97 yards.
Isn't that awesome?
I love Gus Johnson so much. Joe Cloud is one of my favorite college sports announcers.
Defense is here, folks, in Lubbock.
The defense is here, folks, in Lubbock.
I love Gus Johnson so much. I mean, he gets annoying on some of the games he announces, but I love his calls.
If it's
big
for
plays.
if it's for your team and you make a big
Right,
play,
I love
nothing
that.
gets you hyped like that. This segment is called Oklahoma State Game Notes. And so I have some negative takes and some positive takes. Do you want to start us out with just what you picked up in general
Yeah,
from this
I'll
game?
start off with some stats.
Sure.
Shimanek, I don't know if you have an intro for that or transition.
No, I don't.
Okay, cool. Shimanek went 29-46, 330, one touchdown, one pick. The pick was ugly. It came in a bad spot. We'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah.
Rudolph went 27 for 38. Better percentage for 376, 3 TDs, and 1 pick, which was the pick we just showed the video of or showed the audio of.
Yeah.
Rushing, Tech. This is just the leaders for each team. Stockton went 12 for 28 with 1 touchdown. Oh, sorry, I have 3 written down. Never mind.
Yeah.
Stockton went 12 for 28, 1 touchdown. King went 4 for 12. Cutie actually had more than Nisby. Cutie went 1 for 11 on rushing. Nisby went 5 carries, no yards, and 1 touchdown.
I'll take 0 yards and a touchdown
Right.
over 5 yards and 0 touchdowns.
As for OSU, Justice Hill went 30 for 164, which is 30 is a lot. But he had some big runs that gouged us. And Rudolph went on 11 rushes for 50 yards and 2 touchdowns. 16 of those 50 was the nail in the coffin. On that. What do they call it? The RPO, the run pass option. Read options. I hate read options.
Tech
so
needs
much.
to key into that because every team this year will run that against us.
It's really hard to cover.
You have to have like a backside guy just waiting for the quarterback.
It was such a well designed play because when they fake the run, what happens on a run pass option or a read option as it's sometimes known as is that they'll fake the handoff and the edge rushers will suck in to where if anybody kicks out, they're wide open.
Yeah, but that had to be a design play. I don't think he read that. I think before the play was called, he was ready to run.
As for some receiving, OSU, James Washington went 9 for 127 and a touchdown. And Aitman, I think I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. It's
I think so.
Aitman, man, pushed together. 6 receptions for 114.
He had a game.
He had the play of the game in my book, that 3rd and 10.
Oh my gosh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Where he just out-muscled Octavius Morgan.
Well, he's like 6'4", 6'5", and
that was a grown man's play.
He high pointed that ball. Morgan played it perfectly.
He could not have been in a better position.
And, I mean, unless you can jump higher, which
unless you're inside of him, you can't be in a better spot.
He was in the perfect in between him and the ball.
He
had a chance to come down with it.
Right. It was just a grown man move. I remember seeing because it was tied when that happened, and it was our chance to get them off the field.
Yeah.
And I remember saying let's play the game, and I remember he caught that. We're all looking to how in the world did he catch that? I guess he just ate, man. It's fine.
Feed that boy. No, but really, that was the dagger almost. That took
was
all the momentum. We had Raider power. We had everything
Right.
going crazy. And then, man, how do you defend that? There's nothing you can do.
As for the Tech receiving, Batson went 6 for 84. Cantrell went 6 for 67 for a touchdown, and Cutie went 3 for 53. Obviously, his numbers were hindered because of the injury.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that more in a minute. As for a little more of notes, defensively, Dakota Allen had 8 total touchdowns. Not
tackles.
8 total touchdowns. 8 total tackles. 6 of those are solo.
It's good that we can make those tackles in space, though.
Right.
There's no explosive play that I remember where the guy broke free and scored,
right.
a 50-yard touchdown.
Not after a broken tackle, right?
Yeah.
Jason Johnson had Jason. Sorry, I pronounced that wrong. 8 total tackles, 6 of them solo. Tony Jones 7 total, 5 solo, 1 sack, and 1 tackle for loss. Brooks had 7 total, 5 solo, 1 QB hurry, and Dorsey, which I'm glad I see him healthy. He showed up on the stat book for 7 total and 5 solo.
Yeah, he was all over the field,
Absolutely.
coming in hitting people hard, like he does.
Right. Some overall game notes. Both teams had a turnover. OSU had the pick 6, 95 yards for DeMarcus Fields, which is the Big 12 newcomer of the week.
Yeah, that's huge,
that is.
man. Without that, they could have gone up and scored a bunch.
It was about to be 14-0 in the first half of the first quarter, which was a problem.
The first eighth, if you will.
Right. Tech poorly timed pick when they had all momentum. It was.
If you get an onside kick, you need 7.
I ripped my heart out, dog. I was so everybody hate on. I'm gonna get in this in a little bit, but everybody hated on Shimanek for that. It was he just didn't see him. I mean, simple as that.
It's just a really unfortunate time to have that.
As for the MVP of the game, it was a right field goal post. Lol.
Twice.
Amendola went 2 for 4 on field goals, which Amendola is the OSU kicker. 2 for 4 on field goals.
2 inside the 20 or inside the 25, 30.
Just doinked him off the upright.
Hit him on the right side both times.
Right.
We were yelling, the entire crowd was yelling, choke, choke, whenever he came up to kick it.
When he missed that one when we were tied at 34, I thought that was game. I thought we were going to go down.
Everybody did.
Right.
The whole stadium was like,
this is it.
No.
We're going to do this right now.
No way.
Right.
It's game.
As for third downs, Tech went 5 for 12, which is kind of a crappy percentage, but it is what it is. OSU
yes,
was
I have
6
that
for
too.
11.
And we need the sub 500 trend to stop.
Right.
We need to get at least 50% of our third downs.
As for rushing percentage, as for rushing efficiency, rather, Tech had 54 yards on 26 carries. I don't know about you, but 54 yards is a pretty, abysmal performance.
That's 2.1 rush yards per game.
That's sad, John. That's what that is. OSU went 221 on 44 carries. We got to get a better run game. It's just simple as that. It was. Now I read an article that said, I think it was Lubbock Avalanche Journal that said, lost to OSU shows potential in run game, and I go, what game are you watching? I saw no run game. I mean, we had a few swings to Cutie and Batson, but other than that,
I saw
much.
3 defensive linemen dominating our front line.
Our O-line got manhandled. Absolutely manhandled.
I was like, what do we got to do?
Right.
Because, when there's 5 versus 3.
No, granted, this is why I think Ed Oliver got bottled up. Because Ed Oliver's one guy on a team. One guy can't do it all.
There's more talent across the board.
Right. It wasn't one against the whole army.
But that worries me because all the Power 5 Big 12 teams are going to have. And think about it, the Arizona State team, their best pass rusher was injured, Crump or whatever his name was, and so they didn't have their best pass rusher, and now every team we face has their guys pretty much healthy the whole rest of the season.
Right,
starters, powerful dudes. What are we gonna do? We need something to go for us.
It was a 4-hour
run game.
It was a 4-hour fist fight, and we got our tails whooped on our O-line.
Those guys needed some ice bath after.
Right. As for some penalty notes, Tech went 8 for 63, 8 penalties for 63. OSU went 8 for 78. There were some big face masks and nothing gave points up, but there was a big face mask and some big pass interferences that gave up a lot of yards. Time of possession, Tech just barely lost this battle. 29 minutes and 21 seconds. OSU went 30 and 39. As for some total yards,
that's basically even.
Right. As for some total yards, Tech went 384. Again, a very abysmal run game. OSU went 597, and I would take that and throw it out the window.
I did the math though, and OSU outgains us by 213 yards, and we had a chance to win the game.
Right. That's what I was gonna say. Like OSU, I would throw their total yards out the window. Our defense put our team in a position.
They drove down a whole field and threw a pick, and that was that gave them 80 plus
then they
yards.
had 2 drives where they missed field goal. So they had 3 drives where they got 3 whole drives where they got no points out of it.
Yeah.
But
4 total in the game actually, or 5. Yeah, 4 total in the game. I'll explain that in a second.
Okay.
Go ahead.
But our defense put our offense in a position to win. Our offense just couldn't get it done. As simple as that. And part of that is our O-line. Part of that is because the backbone of our what's the word? The backbone of our not existence. I can't remember the word. Team is Cutie went out.
Yeah, he's some heart and soul. This team,
right?
He's been posting some motivational stuff on his social media and stuff.
I saw that too.
So you know that he's not super down about it. He knows that whatever it takes, there's a bigger comeback.
What perception do you think this gives to the Tech fans? This game. I have a lot of thoughts on it, but I'll let you take a crack at it first.
Well, all the negative Nellies out there are like, "I told you so." See, Tech is not that good. Blah blah blah. But man, when you're in every game, some good things can happen.
Right.
We're a better team than we were last year.
Oh, no question about it.
And if anyone's like, "Yeah, this is the same problems," yeah, if one part can't do it, the other part will do it. It'll be okay. But it doesn't matter. This team overall, the feel is more maturity, more talent really on the defensive side of the ball. With Dakota Allen back, and those JUCO transfers have really made the defense look better. And then you take Cliff Kingsbury, who, some of the play calls haven't worked, but that doesn't mean he's a bad coach.
No.
Just because you're only scoring 34 points in a game, come on, you know what?
The fact that you scored 34 points in a game and you had a chance to win is screams louder to me than just scoring 30. Then the fact that our offensive output, as poor as it was still almost good enough to win, it speaks more than the output that it had.
If what we've seen so far continues, if you have us going 5 or less wins, I don't know how you could see that.
Right.
So please be more positive than you are if you are a sub 500 feel right now.
I was listening to the post game show after the game. People are already calling for Cliff's job, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me! We are 1-4 in one possession games last year. Currently, we're 2-1.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with y'all. This is gonna sound negative, but I mean it as a positive, as to where we're in games that we have no business being in games. We had no business being in that game. OSU outclassed us on almost every side of the ball. They have better
Except
talent.
the kicking.
Right. That's true. They
Dude,
they have better talent all around their team.
That onside kick was
That
beautiful.
I have never seen that.
It looked like he had a full run.
Right.
It wasn't like an obvious onside kick. It was one of those, I'm running full speed like I normally do. And then all of a sudden stops on a dime and just...
That place got so loud on that onside kick. I was nuts. But really, you had no business being in this game.
Yeah,
This is a
loud.
team that their players, their coaches, and their fans had aspirations to be in the college football playoff,
And we almost kicked him out.
and we almost upset them. I mean,
So you're telling me we're close to a top 4 team?
okay. Oh, okay. We're not close to being a top 4 team, but we're close to
No,
sure.
but theoretically, like if
Right.
the season were to go out and our only loss would be to OSU, which probably will not happen,
Right.
but like, man,
and
we are a good team right now. I'm not saying we're
yes,
top 4, of course.
If it wasn't for that pick six, it would have been 14-0 midway through the first quarter, which would have been looked bad. I was nervous.
Momentum is a lot.
Watching them go down the field on us like nobody's business was scared me. But that pick six sparked our offense. I don't know why we're having all these slow starts, John. I don't know if you can explain that to me or not, but I don't get why we're having all these slow starts. I really don't.
Well, you see, we're not getting across that yellow line to get a first down.
Thanks for that.
No, but it really doesn't make sense. I feel like something that would change everything is we need to go down the field.
Right.
We have a lot of screen plays and a little sideways, backwards,
Right.
running a sweep or something like that. Just go down the field.
Freaking slant.
They're not ready for it. You know
Right.
that they're keying in. You see those guys charging the moment a guy stops behind the line of
If
scrimmage.
you come out swinging, they're not ready for it. Simple as that. Great. I don't get paid $3 million to put this plan together.
But
like
here's what I
Cliff
see:
does.
our team does better when we go down the field.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, you see it every game.
I'm okay with the first down, beginning of the game, first play, Tech has the ball, throwing it 30 yards to attempt
Right.
it. There's a good chance there's a pass interference call, and there's an even better chance that your guy who's bigger, stronger, senior or junior,
Right.
essentially comes down with the ball.
And like I said, it looked ugly. Early on in the game, it looked ugly. But again, you flip the script, and there were 2 or 3 times where Tech could have won the game. We go up 14-7 after the Cantrell touchdown. We crawl back. I'm going to stay till the end of the game, obviously, but we were sitting there in the middle of the third quarter, being down 31-17, which
A lot of people were like, "Oh,
right.
should I leave?"
Which, fun fact, that's the score of the Arizona State game. We all know what happened there.
Yeah.
And it's there was our red zone efficiency. Our red zone efficiency has to get better.
Yes.
we could have finished drives with several.
I feel like a fullback needs to just
I
block
don't
a
know
hole.
how, if you have like 6 plays inside the 5-yard line, you can't score.
One thing I have noticed is going a little bit more outside has worked better for us on
And
running
even then,
plays.
even then,
Because you get listen to me. You get a lead blocker coming around the edge, and you get one wide receiver pull the other guy out, and it gets at least 3 yards.
Right.
Like unless the guy gets cut down in the backfield, which someone has to really miss a block in order
Right.
for the guy to chase him down from behind. But I mean, you roll. I mean, even if you roll Nisby out, like he's not
Right.
the fastest guy, but man, you get him going 2 or 3 steps downfield and get a little crease where he can push guys to the side rather than hit them head on.
right.
And
And I mean,
that's a good play, and Trey King can run that too.
I think why this game hurts a little more than a usual game is because we had. I'll tell you right now, we had no business being close in that game.
And we had ample chances to win the game.
Yes, which is why it hurts a little more, because we know we could have won. Now and that's it hurts, but I like that because that means that the team is raising the standards of the fans.
Oh, and you see Shimonek's reaction. If you saw the post game,
Right.
he was visibly very upset.
Everybody said people are down because they they could have won that game.
But they expect to win the game,
Right.
Which is a difference than just okay, well we didn't win, we'll try next week.
Right.
Man, they expect to win every game.
It was a full house blackout. I'm still salty about the uniforms, but that's fine.
If you peep the YouTube video that I'm gonna put up, I got a clip of us in that at the beginning, so check it out.
It was I can't say this enough. The fact that we had no business being in the game with them and we still were, and we didn't even play well. Imagine if we would have had high red zone efficiency, played well, our defense was on point.
Those
They
2
had no
drives
problem.
inside the freaking
Right.
3.
If our defense played how they did and we finished drives the way Tech knows how to finish drives, we could have been a 14-point game to our way. Honestly,
Yeah, we had a lot of opportunities to keep that rolling.
they kept on trying to hand us the game on a silver platter, and we just wouldn't take it. Really.
They did give us opportunities, and you want me to run through my negative and positive takes
Sure,
real
yeah.
quick? Since we, let's do this. For the first time, Tech allowed, these are negative takes first. For the first time, Tech allowed more than 4 rushing yards per attempt, and they gave up 5 yards per attempt on rushing. So we need to kind of shore that up.
Mm-hmm.
Tech was held to under 400 total yards for the first time since we put up a 10-point game against Iowa State. Man, that needs to change. We
Yep.
can't have under 400 total yards and expect to win in the Big 12. Tech struggled to get those last 2 yards on 2 drives
I don't
left.
see how they did that.
And they left with 6 points, not 14 points, and that's a
Right.
big difference. And that would have probably won us the game.
Yeah.
Rudolph had 5 total touchdowns against Tech, 2 rushing. That's a pretty good day, and I really hope that Nick would play better than Rudolph, but it really did look like Rudolph was the best
Right.
quarterback in the game. Shimanek went 29 for 46, had a QBR of 68.2 in the game. Not great, but overall he played well enough to keep us in the game for a good chunk of it.
Right.
Um,
He. I mean, he had help with the defense, obviously, but he crawled and scratched his way back into the game. I was pretty down in that third quarter when we were down 14.
Tech only scored 2 touchdowns out of their last 9 drives.
That hurts me. To say that.
We need to finish games.
Right. Oh yeah.
And we haven't shown that really almost
Right.
at all this year to really finish games. We had 1 good drive against Arizona State towards the end, but other than that, that's not a good stat.
Every game's been close.
Every game has been close
What it should have been.
because of those not great endings.
Right.
As far as Tech offense, Kiki Cutie might be hurt. Kuti might be hurt. I'm not sure for how long, but we really, really need him.
Right.
And here's the most. Okay, go ahead.
No, you're fine. I
Okay,
was
so
just
here's
talking about Willie's.
here's the most astounding fact. Do you feel like our defense did well during the
Do you
game?
feel like it did well?
Yeah, you think they played well?
I mean, my standards are low, but yeah, I think they did well.
Okay, this is a fact. We only forced OSU to punt once all game.
And that was that in that fourth quarter where they punted to us, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure.
I don't know exactly where it is, but I looked up the stats and I was like, I only found 1 punt, and it was in the second
I'm
half.
pretty sure it was one of the last drives of the game.
And we forced them to punt once. That's it.
That's crazy.
If you would have told me we only forced them to punt once, I'd say we lose by 15, 20 points.
Absolutely. And I think we had a sack on that drive also. I know Rudolph only got sacked once, but I think the sack came late in the game.
Okay, well, enough of my negative takes. Let me find some positive takes. Gibbs' defense gave the offense a chance to win. In the fourth quarter, it was tied 34.
Now
34
Now
all.
let me listen something about that. It's for those of y'all who are freshmen, listen to this, or even sophomores. Y'all don't know this, but the fact that the offense or the fact that the offense is relying on the defense to stay in games instead of the defense relying on the offense to stay in games, that blows me and John's mind. I'm not used to us saying like the fact like Texas Tech and good defense shouldn't go in the same article as each other. It really
They just
shouldn't.
haven't in the past few years, and we had nothing to expect from this defense. You know, every spring they always look good, but I think they limit the plays on offense and stuff, so it's really hard to tell if the defense is actually going to perform.
Right.
But man, this year they have. And another few things that are pretty cool. Nisby, despite 0 yards, did get a key rushing touchdown.
Yep.
He drove that last yard and showed that we can run the ball. Now,
And that was the
1
one that
yard.
tied it at 34, which was huge.
Yeah, and that was a huge,
That place went
huge
nuts.
play. We stayed neutral with a 1-to-1 turnover ratio, and that kept us in the game.
I'll take that.
Not losing the turnover ratio
and
battle.
I mean, I believe they got points off of our turnover, but
we got 7 off of theirs.
right, and that sparked our team, our offense, everything. I mean, if it would have been 14-0 with us getting the ball back after 2 slow start drives, I would have been scared. But that play sparked on that pick six.
That changed the whole game. It would have been a blowout. I 100%
Right.
agree that we did not have that play. We played pretty great red zone defense.
Yeah, I
We
agree.
forced 4 field goals, and they missed 2 of them.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
of course, there's the interception as well.
we were down. I believe it was 21. No, not 21. I believe it was 31-20. Third quarter, we had that block punt. Remember that? And
I was like, well, there's an easy 7.
Oh, I'm telling
it's
you,
done.
I was thinking when that happened, I would go, well, we're done.
We're done. They're going to score 7,
right.
get the ball.
I mean,
3 and out.
There's
it's
a
over.
big difference between 14 and 18. And it might not seem that way, but there's a huge difference between those 4 points.
Oh yeah.
And the fact that I told other leaned over and I told Micah, like, that stop is the stop of the game.
Yeah, that was. I don't know. Our defense showed something special in the red zone this game.
I mean, and that was demoralizing because we had just they had just scored on us,
and that was the equalizer.
right? Because we were down 4. They had just scored a touchdown on us. We got the ball back and then got a block punt. We could have easily just been down and out, but our defense showed up again.
Okay, so might be a little bit of a hot take, but that was the most prolific offense we may see all year. And I'm saying maybe OU.
I think that's pretty accurate because OU lost a lot of weapons.
And I'm saying their starting receiving core, Mason Rudolph, connecting and knowing how they work. Man, that was a really good offense.
You might not see a more efficient passing attack again this season as they have.
Yeah, and if you don't count the passes out of the backfield, there's no competition.
Right.
Because OU does use those backfield running back passes a lot and score with that. You know what? This is what I'm going to say. Our team is much better than they've been in the last few years, and that's the positive. That's what I take out of this game.
Don't get down on this team. As long as a lot of season to go, if you would have told me in June we're going to be 3-1, I would have called you crazy.
If you see a football player, tell them they're doing good.
Right.
You know, give them some sort of motivation because they've heard the negativity for months and months and months.
Hashtag TTV.
And they have that mentality, Texas Tech versus everybody, by the way. Yeah, man. So if you see a Texas Tech football player, especially if their head's down this week sometime, tell them they've done a good job.
Right. I mean, it was a hell of a game. And the fact that both night games have been good games.
Oh, that's so much fun.
We lost, so it hurts, but the fact that because a lot of people, I hate to say it, but a lot of people go to football games. I can't talk right now. A lot of people go to games for social events.
Yeah, something to hang out with people.
So when they see, I want to spend 4 hours here and lose, like they're not gonna. But the fact that games are close, they're like, hey, I'm gonna go for friends and maybe see good games.
Yeah, and one of my friends, Alex, he was like, I'll leave, and then we scored, and he's like, I'll stay.
Right,
he ended up staying the whole time.
The whole thing. Yeah.
And so it was cool to see people. They're like, well, I just can't leave because this is so exciting. This is so fun. We might actually pull this out. Who knows? And that's the kind of allure that this program has this year.
Right.
Like, we are in every game.
We have a chance. I mean, obviously, everybody has a chance in every game because you got to play the game still. But we have a chance in every – besides maybe going to OU and playing them on the road, we have a chance in every game.
All right. I'm ready for the next segment.
All righty.
Okay, this is reviewing rapid-fire questions from last week.
You are a huge nerd.
Okay, so I'm just going to go through all of them. We were wrong. We were both wrong about the TTU wearing all black uniforms.
That's garbage.
And I was not excited when they came out in their uniforms.
It looked sick.
They did look good, but it was a blackout, and I was really hoping for that. That's just my opinion, but we were both wrong about scores in the 40s plus for Tech. And the whole shootout, we said both teams scoring 40 plus. Mason Rudolph's raw QBR, I believe, did go down very, very slightly. So that's Drew +1 on that one. We were both right that Dakota Allen was the top tackler. He was tied with Ja'Shawn Johnson with 8 tackles in the game. There was targeting in the game. Both of us said yes, and that did not happen. So
should have been. What? Hello.
Both were. Yeah, they're on the cutie hit. I believe that. 100%. That was face mask, top of the helmet hitting Kiki's face mask. So I believe that is targeting, but they did not call it. We were both right that Tech was perfect on extra points. Thank you very much, Barden, and for kicking all those. And Batson is not the holder. I don't remember who the guy. Okay. I think it's De La Garza or something like that. It's one of the other kickers, I believe.
Gotcha.
Holding the ball. But yeah, there hasn't been any miscues on those so far. So that's good. We're both right about the trick play, but not on a punt. I guess there's an onside kick one as well, if you count that.
Oh, no, there was that flea flicker. There was that swing pass to it.
Yeah, there was one. Yeah.
And it worked for first down.
And so, Drew, I gave you a point for that because you said they're going to get a first down and not a touchdown. Ooh. And I said a touchdown. But I did mention that Batson was going to be involved with it because he was like he was a quarterback in high school. And so I was like, they're going to give the ball in the hands of... That was a huge
play. I don't know when it came in the game, but that was a huge play.
Yeah, it was down the left sidelines, and Nick threw a dime
right after
he got the pass back. It was like a double pass to Batson, back to Nick. So we were both right about that, and we got elements of it. So I gave you +2 overall on that one. You beat me by 2 in the rapid-fire questions from last week. This is reviewing last week's over-under. So over-under, 3 plays of 60-plus yards. Actually, DeMarcus Felton, his interception touchdown was the only one of 60-plus yards.
Wow.
Kiki did have a 56-yard catch. I don't know how he didn't score. He kind of went back and tried to hit the guy. But Drew, you're +1 on that one because you are under. Shimanek sacked 3 times. He was only sacked once. So, Drew, you get a point on this one, too. By the way, you kicked my butt on this second. Yeah, for sure. Rudolph was sacked 3 times. Sorry, Rudolph sacked 3 times over-under. Drew, you said push. I said over. There was only 1, so both of us were wrong on that one, which it's okay. We didn't get much pressure on him really all game.
Right.
James Washington, 120 receiving yards. You said over, Drew, so +1 for you. He had 127. Justice Hill, 90 yards rushing. Drew, you said over, so you got 164.
Oh,
he got 164, so Drew, you're really...
That guy gouged us on some big runs.
Yeah, he was the best running back I believe we've seen
right.
all year as far as how he played. 400 passing yards, over, under. 376 for Tech, so they're under. Drew, you said under 400,
wow,
so
look at
you
me
got
go.
You got another point there, and I just said over. Tech holds OSU 4 rushing yards per attempt. Drew, I give you another point because you said over, and I said under. So 80 total points. Both of us were wrong. We both said over, 75 total. Over, under, 1,100 yards. Drew, you said under, and it was under, 981. So I said over. Drew, you were +7 on me out of like 9 or 10.
Let's go.
You nailed almost every
Let's
over-under
go.
from this week.
I know what I'm talking about.
So now I'm going to review our keys to the game and some of the hot takes that I said from last week. Drew, your keys. Don't let them beat you on the deep ball.
Which they didn't a whole
they
lot.
They really didn't. They didn't have a play that was over
Right.
60 yards, so they didn't really beat us
No,
deep.
they had some long shots, but it wasn't like long shots.
They were slant. They were like
there
crossings.
wasn't a whole lot of run after catch.
Yeah, and there was a lot of slant, like deep slants, basically.
Right.
Let's see. Take advantage of the turnovers. We did take the one turnover we got
advantage.
95 yards back, so I guess we did that. Establish the run game.
Nope.
We did not.
That's
That's the one that we needed that we did not have. Time of possession, it was close. So, I mean, that's what you wanted, is not for them to destroy us at time of
Right.
possession. And then you said good tackling as well. And that saved us a lot of extra
Absolutely.
yards rushing. There was a lot of good tackles in open space in the defensive backfields. So you were 4 for 5. So we did almost everything needed to win in your eyes.
Except for winning.
And my keys were points off of turnovers, 1 for 7 points. I'll take it. Yes. Mason Rudolph's 3rd and long. Pressure him, get him to rush. We did not do well at this.
No, he was standing back there the whole game.
Test run, OSU's run defense. We did not do well on that
Nope.
either. So 1 out of 3 for me. And so that gets the total to 5 out of 8 of our overall keys to the game were met. So that was not enough to win. But, man, this game was definitely worth it. Drew, you said that this game is going to be lit. It's going to be a fun game to go to. And the Jones was very exciting, very rocking out there. Now my hot takes. Did any of my hot takes happen? No.
Really? No?
So Mason Rudolph kicked some butt. I said that he was going to lower his QBR or be the second best one. We only forced 1 punt on him, 2 missed field goals, and the interception touchdown, of course. No long field goals because I said that someone's going to hit like a 45-plus yard field goal.
To not take the lead, but to come back, right?
To start to come back. Yeah, I also said Cam Batson would have the break-free game go over 100 yards. He had 80-something, but it still wasn't a true breaking-free big game with multiple touchdowns. Trey King, I said he was going to be a leading rusher. He had 12 yards. OSU did not have more yards of penalties than Tech, and that's another one that I messed up. 78 for OSU, or for Tech, 63 for OSU. Both had 8 penalties total. Quan Shorts didn't even touch the ball. I said he was going to have a big touchdown, one of those.
Congratulations on that
down
one.
the field. I feel bad about that one, but I did want to see him.
Right.
I was also way under my 1,300 total yards for the game. It was less than 1,000.
Dang straight.
Drew, you were right. The people stayed till the end. It's my last one that I had to make sure.
The majority of them did. You couldn't tell the difference between the start and the finish. I'll say that.
Yeah, it wasn't like half the stadium was
It was
gone.
pretty packed from top to bottom, corner to corner the whole time.
All right, so the last thing we need to do for our reviews is reviewing our OSU score prediction. All right, so we know that Tech lost 41-34. Drew, your score was 45-41, Tech winning. You nailed OSU's score, but Tech was off by 11.
Dang.
So that's a little frustrating that Tech didn't come through offensively. Right. I had OSU winning, which is technically correct, but I had Tech off by 18, OSU off by 7. So I was a total of 25 points off. That's really bad. Well, I mean, I guess it's fairly bad. I could have guessed a lot worse. Cool. So what do you think about our score predictions compared to... And how does that affect your score predictions for this next week? You don't have to tell me what it is.
I think you're gonna think my prediction is bold because of what I saw Saturday. I think our defense is showing an element to the our defense is showing grit that I didn't know they had. So it kind of affected my score a little bit for this next game.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you don't have to give that away yet. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, I think that's all I have for our score predictions. Now. We got to get up early again for another 11 a.m. game.
And they announced the West Virginia game already, and that's 11 a.m.
That's also 11 a.m.
2 back-to-back 11 a.m. Granted, we're going to be on a retreat, but 2 back-to-back 11 a.m.s. So out of okay, but by the time we play West Virginia, that'll be 5 games? Just kidding, that'll be 6. We're 3-1 right now. Mm-hmm. That'll be 4. No, because the first one's 3:30. So out of 6 first games,
4 not night games.
You're right. Out of 6 games, 2 were night games and 3 were 11 a.m. games, which is got to do something to your team. I mean, I don't know what, but I mean,
Mike Thomas said he was not very excited about it.
I mean, who is?
But here's what I meant to do a second ago. This is Kansas preview notes. All right, so Tech has won the last 10 games against Kansas. Let's keep that going.
Please,
God,
keep that going.
I get scared when I think of how we broke U of H's streak and how all streaks will break eventually, but I don't think this game is the one to do it. 11 a.m. games suck. I think the team has to be up by like 7 and together for a team meeting.
Kansas, I mean,
they stay up till at least midnight. You know that.
Right.
So waking up at 7's hard. For the 11 o'clock game, they do the pregame meal, everything as a team, just to kind of get up, get ready to play. And Tech needs to wake up for this one, man. I don't know how it's gonna be because last time, if you remember, it was, not the most brilliant showing or awake showing from Tech. What do you have any preview notes? Anybody people to watch
I just
for?
got my keys to the game. If you're ready for those,
we'll do that in a minute later. So yeah, I don't have many preview notes there. But here's your favorite segment, and I just wanted to do this little one. It's kind of a little laughing segment for me. All right. This is Fun Facts About Kansas.
Yeehaw!
All right. There's no fun facts about Kansas. You can make plenty of Wizard of Oz jokes.
They win the first game of the season, and they lose 11 straight. So
there's nothing fun about Kansas. There's no fun facts. I'm just kidding. There's probably some, but I just thought that would be pretty funny to not put that segment in there. All right, cool. So you're gonna like this one.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It's time for rapid fire questions.
Give a posture right.
Oh yeah, you're set up now. Does Tech win the turnover battle against Kansas?
They freaking better. Yes.
All right. I say yes as well, by the way. Do we finally score on our first possession offensively?
Yeah. I don't know if it's a touchdown, but we score.
I'm going to go yes as well. Does Tech get a second half pick in this game?
Yeah.
I say yes as well, by the way. Does Tech get a defensive touchdown in this game?
No, because those are kind of rare.
All right, I'm going to go with yes.
Okay.
Will one of Tech's backup receivers have a touchdown in this game? So one not they're starting for, including the new guy.
Yeah, because it may be garbage time.
I say yes as well. Okay, let's see. Does Nisby finally have a breakout game of 70-plus yards? I've lowered the bar a little bit from 100.
No, I don't think so.
I'm going to have to go with no as well. They just haven't used him enough.
This is depressing, isn't it?
Hey, most of them have been positive for me. Does Tech have a better overall game than the one 2 years ago at 11 a.m. at Kansas? That was a 30-20 game.
They better. Yes.
I'm going to say yes as well. I hope so. And here's my favorite one. Will crickets be chirping by the start of the fourth quarter?
The first quarter.
Not the first quarter. That would be really sad.
Yeah. Why not?
I agree. It'll be like silence. No, I'm gonna have to go with no for that one. I'm gonna say there's still gonna be people there.
It won't be audible to the TV.
Okay, I'm gonna go with it'll at least be enough to like
Okay.
where you can hear people and you don't look in the stands and see complete emptiness or like 90% emptiness. Okay, you like this one too. It's
baby.
time for over/under questions. All right, so my first over/under question is over/under. Tech gets back up to 450 total yards against Kansas.
Yes. Oh, sorry.
Over/under. Over as well for me. Over/under. Tech sacks Kansas 3 times in this game.
Dang. Push.
All right, I'm going to go under on that one. Over/under. Kansas sacks Shimanek 2 times.
Dang. Under.
I'm going to go over on that one. That's a tough one. He has been sacked a lot. Over/under. Kansas has 130 rushing yards in the game against Tech. 130 rushing yards.
Oh, under.
I'm going to go under as well, actually. Over/under. 60 total points in this game. So the
That's
entire
30 each.
Yeah.
Over.
I'm going over as well. Over/under. Tech gives up 2 turnovers in this game.
Gives up to turnovers?
Yeah, like they throw/fumble.
Under.
I'm going to go under as well. Over/under. Kansas gives up 100 rushing yards defensively. So we rush the ball 100 yards.
Over.
I'm going to say over as well. All right, most of those are pretty much the same. So this is a pretty exciting time as well because this is Tech's recipe for victory.
Alrighty.
Winning.
You want me to go first? You got it.
Yeah, you go first.
Cool. I have 4 or 5.
Okay.
First one is please don't have this be a letdown game. We can't afford that.
Yeah, don't let the loss last
Right.
week beat you this week.
Bounce back with a good run game after an abysmal performance against OSU.
Okay.
Start fast for once in your life. So score some points on the opening drive. So you're not. They just look stiff to open up games, and it's been that way every game so far this season.
They know that they're expected to score a lot of points offensively. I feel like that's hindered their
Right.
mindset rather than just okay, one drive we're going
Right.
to go down and play our best.
Hold Kansas to under 15 points.
Under 1-5.
Yeah.
Wow.
And red zone efficiency. You got to finish drives with 6. Because if we would have done that last game, we would have won.
That's a good key to the game.
Yes.
All right. Is that it?
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay, here's my recipe for victory. Run the ball consistently. I really don't care if you pull guards. Technically, it's not a run, but if you resort to tunnel screens, where you get linemen out in space and you just
Right.
throw the ball behind it and have them run up between the linemen.
I like those.
I really do too. I think we should use those more. Or shovel passes, like the whole delayed
Right.
little shovel pass thing that kind of keeps defenses on their heels. That's a big one for me. Use your power package. This is still part of the first point. Use your power package with King, Nisby, Reed. Just go for it.
Right.
See what happens. Like if it falls apart and it doesn't work,
Now,
you can.
how much bigger is King than Stockton?
I think King's like 15 to 20 pounds heavier than
Okay.
Stockton, and Nisby's 10 pounds heavier than that, and
Right.
Reed is over 200 as well. But he's kind of been a good guy to blow open gaps, and if he misses a block, he can be ready for a throw as well.
Right.
And so, number 2, and I mentioned this to you earlier, throw the ball down the field. I mean,
Agreed.
screens are not my favorite. Slants are good, out routes are good, but screens really aren't doing much stuff. Like the sweeps
Right.
behind the line are not doing much. And third, and my final point for our recipe for victory is wake up. Don't start slow on the offense or
Right.
defensive side. What I mean by that is play hard-nosed defense, on offense, downfield block, and just play Tech football.
Right.
Like don't try to be something that you're not. Just play your game, and we will have enough to beat Kansas. Sorry, I didn't want to give away my prediction, but we better both have us winning this game.
No.
Anyway.
Sorry, John. No.
That's very negative of you.
I'm so let down after last week. I can't handle it anymore. I quit.
Fire Cliff. That's terrible. But if all these things come together and our recipe for victory is correct, I got us with this hashtag. Hashtag Operation Jayhawk Down.
Oh, good Lord.
That's a pretty good one, isn't it?
You're so cheesy.
I like that.
You're so cheesy.
All right. It's time for hot takes.
I'll let you go ahead. Go first.
All right. Tech, for the first time this season, does not cover the spread in this game. That's a hot take. I'm saying we're not covering
And
the
it's
17 and a half point spread.
Oh, John, dang it. I don't like that very much.
So this is the first time we're not above the spread. Is my first hot take. That's why it's hot take. They get them wrong, you know?
Right.
I hope. Okay, Cam Batson has his first breakout game finally with over 100 yards receiving, and I'm going to say 2 touchdowns
Now that
as well.
Cutie's out, I don't think it's such a hot take.
I don't know, man. I think that's a pretty hot take for over 100 yards and 2
The
touchdowns.
2 TDs, maybe, but I think he's going to get some yards this game.
This is just random, but inside receiver Antoine Cox-Wesley comes down with a really cool one-handed grab in this game.
Why not?
I've seen him do it in high school games, and I've seen him in practice and some highlight clips do a one-handed grab. So I'm going to hope that he has a pretty cool come down with a cool catch. Tony Jones recovers 2 fumbles/interceptions for Tech. So it comes away with 2 of those turnovers.
Okay.
2 turnovers in this game. Vontae Dorsey has a monster hit in the game that makes Tech fans go, oh! So I think that he's going to have a big hit, blow somebody up good. Tech scores on their first possession for the first time this year and comes up with 7.
I can't stand that slow start stuff.
Not just 3. They come up with 7 on their first drive of this game. I like this one. The visual in my mind is great. We will see a KU fan surrender Cobra in this game after Tech hits a 50-plus yard touchdown. And if you don't know what that is, that's just where you put both hands above your head. And it's like, oh, I can't believe it. And it looks kind of like a Cobra. So that's why they call it a surrender Cobra. So those are my hot takes for the game. Do you have anything that are pretty hot takes?
Because I don't care about Kansas much. We better win. I have no other thing besides this.
Sorry, random call.
It's gonna be a snoozer by the middle of the third quarter. You'll be obviously, you know, I'll be watching the whole game. I'm not going to be turning it off to do anything else, but you'll be fully relaxed and not nervous by the middle of the third quarter.
Cool. Yeah. I really hope so. I hope that's the coldest hot take ever, but right. I feel like it might not be. Cool. All right. You have your score prediction written down? I do. All right, let me make sure I got this. Okay, here we go. This is a score prediction for this week. Touchdown! All right, Drew, start us off and tell me what you got for score prediction.
I think our offense is going to snap it into gear, and our defense is going to continue the same ways that they did last week.
Are you calling a blowout, Drew?
Calling a blowout. 56-10, Tech.
56-10.
I think
wow.
if the defense plays like they did against OSU, against a lesser team of Kansas, I think it's no contest at all.
Yeah, I'm super shocked by that because you can see my score in a second. So you have us winning
56-10
by 46 points.
Yep.
Covering the spread, twice the spread.
Not even close.
Almost 3 times the spread. That's awesome. I love that. My score prediction, rock chalk up a victory for Texas Tech and Lawrence.
You got to be kidding me, John. Okay.
I got Tech over Kansas, 41-27. Now, that's only a 14-point game.
Okay.
That's almost covering the spread.
I don't want to see him get over 20.
I don't either, but I think that's what's going to happen. And that's my my score prediction.
If we got over 20,
game.
I would say that the defense took a few steps back, honestly.
Yeah, if they score, I say over 24.
Because Kansas' offense is not even in the same universe as OSU. So our defense, if it plays as they have been playing, they should crack down on this team and not let them do anything.
So, yeah, I think that 11-point game, our team's not going to come out as sharp as they could. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's a victory, and they're going to chalk it up. And we look forward to West Virginia, another 11 a.m. kickoff.
Bummer.
That's garbage.
No one is excited about that. And I don't know why these games are such gross times. But you know what? We'll see how we play.
I just hope Iowa stays at night, which is the next home game.
Yeah, it
better be at night.
At least afternoon, because if it's a morning game, it's just tough.
Yeah.
But we'll see how we play 11 a.m. at Kansas.
As for that, we're brought to you by Blue Apron, home delivery service. farm fresh meals, prepackaged ingredients, pre-portioned food. Sorry, same thing.
Good food.
Go to bluebird.com for more details. It's delivered at your door, 30 to 40 minute cook time. Other than that, you can find this podcast on John's not Facebook page, YouTube page. Go ahead and plug that real quick.
Yep, John Starrett, JohnStarrett, and search Texas Tech as well.
And when we upload it, you can find this on iTunes. Just search Reading Between the Lines. It's the black and white logo. That's RBTL for short. SoundCloud, or the link to SoundCloud on my Facebook page. It'll be on both places. Where else? I think that's it.
Yeah, if you enjoy the content, share this sucker.
Absolutely. And I was going to say something else, but I totally am blanking right now.
Find on SoundCloud, on iTunes, and on YouTube.
Shout out to the freshmen who are recent subscribers. If you want to come to my game if you want to come to my house for the game, I'm not going to tell this to 500 people, but hit me up for that address.
Sweet. You want to plug the Wesley before we end?
Wesley, Saturday we're actually having. I probably be there for a little bit of it. We're having puppies and pancakes. Puppies will not be there. We're going someplace else for puppies, but we're having pancakes. 10:30 at the Wesley. I'll stay there for a little bit to watch the first half of the game, and then I'm probably going to go to my house instead of going to see the puppies. But 2420 15th Street. If you're in the Lubbock area, it's a great place.
Student ministry for college-age kids.
And speaking of what we talked about in the beginning of this podcast about Vegas, we're having a prayer time for the Vegas victims and the specific person that we know through a friend. We're having that Friday at the Wesley at 8 o'clock. I'll be there. Hope to see some of y'all there. Other than that, let's hope we kick Kansas's beak off.
What even is a Jayhawk?
Right. Ha ha ha. That was stupid. That's fine. I meant to. Okay.
That was spontaneous.
We're done. Other than that, Reckham Tech. See y'all later.
Reckham.